With me this week is State Auditor General Eugene DePausquale, who joins us once again. Good to have you back. Thanks for coming on the program. Late last week, you released a report, the State of the Child Special Report. Some disturbing things you found here. Welfare system puts children at risk. This is the headline here. Children at risk. The system is broken and Pennsylvania's at-risk children are simply not safe. That's a big statement. Let's talk about that.
And we think it's 100% true. It started when we did my audit of what's known as the Child Line program, the Child Abuse Hotline. We found 58,000 unanswered phone calls at the Child Abuse Hotline. Now, a lot of those issues with the actual hotline have been fixed as a result of the audit, but that led me to then do a report from 13 different counties all over the state, so small, medium, bigger counties, different demographics, and we found the problem is very consistent. Not enough caseworkers, not enough training, not prepared to go into some of the most horrific situations, and too much turnover, and kids are falling through the cracks.
So laws changed. They got more strict. That brought more cases, am I correct?
That's correct.
Brought more cases. So then you have more people coming into the system to help out, more employees.
That's right.
But they're coming out of college.
Not more employees, more cases.
More cases, less employees.
That's right.
But the problem is the caseload gets so high on the employees. This is where I was going with this. That they end up quitting? Is that what's going on?
That's correct. And then let me add another problem into that, opioids, which is, a lot of the parents are addicted to opioids in a lot of these, parts of the state. So you combine the new law with the explosion of opioid addiction, you combine those two with the high turnover rate among the caseworkers, and it's been deadly for our kids.
Okay, you never do an audit without having some solutions. So what do you suggest?
Well, overall, I've called for, in a sense, a Marshall Plan for youth all over Pennsylvania. But you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need to, A, tackle what has been starting in Pennsylvania, go after the opioid crisis. That's number one. Number two, we're going to need more caseworkers. We're going to, in a sense, have to find some technical things to make their jobs simpler, and just less time filling out paperwork, more time with the children. Three, we're going to have to actually train the workers to prepare themselves for some law enforcement situation. When you go into a home, if you have to make the choice to take the kid, we've got to have the caseworkers prepared to deal with that. And we have to have more law enforcement backup for when these young men and women go into these horrific situations. We actually have to have law enforcement backing them up in more cases.
So how can that be accomplished?
Well, simply by, I say simply, but there's a simple process of when they believe that something could be lethal,
they need to raise the flag.
They need to raise the red flag, have better training to know when that could be the case, and then have law enforcement there on backup for them.
How shocked were you personally with this report?
I knew there was a problem, but when we found that just Cambria County alone, nearly 40% of the entire 18 and under population has been through the CYS system.
40%?
Yeah, not 40% of the kids in the CYS system. 40% of 18 and under in Cambria County is part of the CYS system. That is unbelievable. And so you look at that and it just takes your breath away.
Did you find any spending, any government waste there as far as the way the system is using its money?
The biggest problem we found was the lack of adequate training and too much paperwork. So it's not as if we found somebody stealing money or this and that. Too much paperwork, too much time for these caseworkers spent on their computer, less time actually dealing with the details of the actual cases.
And better training to try not to overload these caseworkers to the point where they simply either walk away from the job or they just can't get to the kids that need the help.
That's exactly right. Now, I do want to stress this. It's not just about money, because Cumberland County did raise the pay and they still had the huge turnover. So it's not just about the money.
So it's an extremely tough job.
That's right.
And people sign up for it and then sometimes they...
And you've got to have a path for, anybody that has a difficult job, but if you have some success out of it, it gives you motivation to go back into work. So many of these caseworkers, they're not seeing any success and it just breaks them down.
Okay, so do you see this, your changes being implemented soon?
I think this is a long haul. I'd love to sit here and tell you by next week this is all going to be taken care of. I think this is going to be a slow, steady, long haul to try to improve this across the state. When you're talking about 40% of kids in just one county or in the system, there's no way that gets fixed overnight.
All right.